I think that allowing for the book being, after all, a parody, something like 1984 could actually happen. This is the direction the world is going in at the present time. In our world, there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement. The sex instinct will be eradicated. We shall abolish the orgasm. There will be no loyalty except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Wednesday. This is Breaking the Narrative, and I have tonight with me the very lovely and talented, extremely talented Renie, Irene, aka Renie Draws. Hello, hi.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited about this because we get to hang out sometimes on like different shows like Flashcast and Jack's show and things like that, but we haven't done the one-on-one thing, and I thought it was time to remedy that. So
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. We always I watched some of your shows, and I like I enjoyed the one with Ethan. I think that was my first introduction to your channel. So yeah, I'm excited to be on here.
That's
It's gonna be
awesome.
fun. Let's talk about aliens and art.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. That was a great show with Ethan. He's kind enough to come on, and it's just it was a blast. That was a really good show. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the news, and I figured why not talk about some of this craziness. But before we get started, first of all, everybody, we are simulcasting on Rumble as well. The link to the Rumble is in the description down below, as well as all of Renie's links. So make sure you're subscribed. And also before we get going into everything, make sure you smash the like, share the stream, all that good stuff, because it helps spread the word that we're talking over here. And I want to start by thanking a Trucker Rob. Thank you for the $5. Say hi, Nina. Hi. And thank you so much, Braz Monkey, for gifting 5 memberships to the chat. You are amazing. And now, without further ado, let's get to know Irene a little bit. So, Irene, before we get into like crazy topics, can you give us a little lowdown on who you are and where people can find you?
So hold on. I should have my camera on. I forgot. I am such a mess. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's an artist thing.
Yeah, it is artist thing. It's like I was like, I'm never together. I'm just a complete mess. But hello, everybody. I'm Irene, aka Renie Draws, and I'm a comic creator, and I guess kind of a writer, wannabe writer now. I've been doing this for a while. I used to work for Marvel. I jumped around in gaming and animation. I did television animation for many years. But recently, my thing is my own comic series, Fiendish, that is funding on Indiegogo. And I kind of got tired of working in mainstream comics and felt like there was no place for me. I went independent, put my own stuff out there, chose crowdfunding, and I just went to the people who seemed cool and wanted to promote my stuff. And then I was told that I was enabling Nazis, apparently, and I just told
How
decided
dare you?
I know. How dare I go to people that support me, an Asian and Jewish comic creator, because that's apparently what Nazis do. So I decided those
Wow.
people were crazy, and so now I'm here, and Fiendish is doing really well. So
It
I'm
is
so
doing
grateful.
really well. Congratulations. That's freaking amazing. Now this is, like I said, this is the first time I'm kind of getting to know you. So I'm actually kind of amazed by the little lowdown you just gave, because what you just said was kind of crazy. Like, you worked for Marvel, you've been in animation and all sorts of that stuff. Can you give us a little bit more of an example? Like, what did you do for Marvel? Did you draw comics, or did you write, or what were you doing for Marvel?
I drew comics. I was a penciler and inker.
Cool.
And so my first job with them was all the way back in 2011 when I was still in college, actually, and it was my first comic job, and it was just a one shot. It was like an 11-page one shot in Deadpool Family, and then I didn't get any work with them for years, and I decided I was going to go to animation because I needed to pay the bills. And then years later, basically, what happened was I was my day job was in animation and gaming, and even though I was making really good money, I realized that my true love was comics. Like, I went to school for it. I majored in sequential art, and I've been dreaming of doing my own comics since I was 14. I really like this medium. And
Wow.
And so I decided I wanted to get back into comics. I didn't know how else I could do it other than trying to get work with publishers again. So I sent my portfolio around, and I got put on some books by Marvel, which I was really grateful for at the time. But after so I went from gaming to working for Marvel, and I was also doing pencils and inks. But after a while, I realized that it really basically wasn't going to go anywhere, because it was how do I put it? I felt like I just didn't fit there. Like, there really wasn't a place for my style, and they have their own house style. They didn't really want my own style, and I was getting put on a lot of books that really didn't fit me, and I didn't really know how to break out of it. Like, I was getting put on Gwenpool and Silk. Actually, I quite like Silk, but Gwenpool was really not my thing. I got put on Squirrel Girl. I'm like, why am I on this book? It's YA cutesy stuff. I like drawing fantasy. Like, put me on something like Conan. Like, I know I'm not there yet, but I want to do like badass, like bloody fantasy stuff. I don't think they knew that. I think part of it was probably a little bit of like, you're a girl creator.
You're Asian and you're a girl. You need to create the cutesy little, like, cutesy stuff for us. Do your thing.
I think deep down, there was probably part of that was the reasoning. I suspect. I strongly suspect. But it is what it is, and I just decided, well, it's not for me. And I've always wanted to be independent anyway, so I started working on Fiendish. And
do you think, like, do you like being independent a lot better now?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm living my dream. It's so great.
That's so good.
It's awesome. I just thanks to you guys.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear, because it's becoming a creator it's difficult, though, right? Like, I mean, it's not an easy thing to get up and have as to go in it for the first time, and then just kind of like have the kind of success that you seem to be receiving. And I think that has to do with your work ethic and your skills, and what you've put into the work. Because quite frankly, I mean, when I look at your website, I mean, your website looks incredible. And oh my God, I could hear myself because I put it on YouTube. Okay, it's fine. Everything is okay. Okay. I was about to share. I was about to share your website. Your website looks incredible. Your projects just look really, really cool. Look, like your art style is really cool. I really like what you've got going on.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your creative process? Like what makes you, especially on days when you don't want to draw, or like when do you have those days when you're like, I just don't feel creative today. Like I don't want to draw today. Do you have those days ever?
No.
Really?
I have days where sometimes during the process of doing a comic, I ran into the issue of some pages I just really don't feel like working on this page because the scene is like very perfunctory and boring. But then that drives me to, when that happens, I kind of have to reflect on myself, especially if I wrote it, like, why did I write this? Because I shouldn't be bored with any of the stuff that I write, and I'm making myself draw.
Sure.
And sometimes it's like sometimes some days I just won't be into the work that I have to do right now because I'll want to draw some concepts for Fiendish. But it really is just like telling yourself it's your job and stop whining and start moving your hand. Like that's what I tell myself. Just start moving your hand and get through it. And on those days the work goes slower, but I don't really have days where I don't want to draw. I always want to draw something. It's more of like, okay, this is the task I need to finish for today. This stay on schedule. So that's more my issue. But you know, you got to be professional, because I think a lot of people, well, I don't know about a lot of people, but artists beginning out, it's hard to discipline yourself and have that business mind and kind of have that discipline, because creative types, we kind of want to, it's about expressing yourself and doing what makes you happy. But once in a while you have to just sort of buckle down and do the work.
Okay, so what would be your advice to someone who's starting out and wants to get into, you know, creating independent comic books? What would be your number one advice?
Start drawing or writing. Yeah, just start. Well, it depends on if you're a writer or artist, really, right? But
what if you're both? Like you're both.
Yeah. Just start doing the work, you know. And I know it's hard. I've been there. I've been working on Fiendish for like 6 years now, but it's all about
6 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, the development process was kind of lengthy, and we're on book 2. I put out book 1 in 2021, but I had been working on it already for like 3 years before that. So I started working on it in 2018 when I was living in Taiwan at the time. But Fiendish is actually not my first independent comic either. I've been drawing my own comics and printing them since I was like 17. And I've done some web comics before. It's just kind of nothing really stuck. And some of it, you know, I was starting out and I wasn't that good of a storyteller yet. And I had to kind of work my way up and learn how to both market myself and learn how to be a better storyteller. But so I've been doing this for a while, and it's not going to be easy, I would say, to people who want to do your own comics and starting out. You might fail, but if you don't try, you never know.
That's true. And did you do anything to improve your craft? Like you said, you worked on it more to become a better writer. Did you read anything, or did you get did you sign up for anything, any sort of help with that?
No, even though I feel like that would be a great idea. Mostly what I did was I tried to get a lot of feedback. So I have comic friends and other people I know in the comic industry that I have to not publicly associate with now because they're crazy people on Twitter. But but even now, like with Fiendish, I try to send it around and ask for feedback from people that I have met through comicsgate and through YouTube and everything. And I still ask for feedback all the time from some of my old comics friends and or even my regular friends, because I think comics people and creatives, and so what I noticed is artists and pure writers, like I know some novel writers as well, and people who are not creatives, who are just like normie friends who like to consume media but they don't create. All these types of people have different feedback, and I want to hear from all of them. So I try. It's sort of so I would say look for people that you can trust, that will be honest with you, and obviously you can trust with showing them your work, and they're not out to just like tear you down, but also if you have something you can work on, they're not going to like coddle your feelings,
give you
and
like actual constructive criticism, and like
yeah.
even when it hurts, like it's like painful, you don't want to really hear it, but they're being honest with you and like they're telling you what you need to hear.
Yep.
In the kindest way possible,
Oh,
you're
I
like,
have friends who aren't
so
even
hurt.
kind about it, but whatever.
Yeah.
I have friends that are
I feel
super
that.
blunt, but it's like, well, I learned that that's just how this friend is, and I understand it, because they're not trying to be mean. Like what matters is the criticism. It's not about like my feelings at that point. So I think that's important to have that sort of group if you're a creative. That helps.
That's a really cool mindset to have as well. I mean, you gotta have some thick skin if you're gonna be an artist on the internet, for sure, because you're gonna hear a lot of weird feedback. I mean, I don't know if you've been keeping track of some of the criticism that Eric July's received over his book, but I mean, it's been kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, I've been looking, I've been seeing it. It's just insane. And it's him, and people just like have all kinds of weird criticism for him, but also just anyone who works with him, right? It's like you like with Shane and Ethan, they did these awesome covers for Eric for Isom 2, and Isom 2 just hit 1 million. It's amazing, it's blowing up, and all these insane people where, I mean, if you have legit criticism, that's perfectly legit, but it's like they're calling seasoned creators and amazing artists like Shane and Ethan terrible people, and saying the art is bad, and saying that Eric is like grifting people. Even though he's a scammer. Books. How is he scamming people even though he's delivering books and doing sense? Is crazy.
Yeah, they're saying he's a scammer because he's selling an idea of anti-woke to people who like the anti-woke movement, and therefore he's a scammer because he's selling that idea and not like a good product. And it's just like, it's the most weird criticism that I've ever heard, but most of it's not constructive, it's not constructive at all.
Right. I mean, I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's selling a product while also being outspoken about his opinions, right? And it's sort of, even if he was, what's wrong with that? They should be
nothing
worried
wrong with that.
Because even if he was selling this, like, we're not woke, buy our stuff, shouldn't you be worried that if you're on, that side of politics, that look at all these people that are tired of woke shit and supporting Eric July and similar creators? So it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's really good to see, though, like the kind of support that he's getting, because it does show that there is a market out there for independent comic books and independent art and independent artists. And it's just, you just need to have that work ethic, and you just need to have what you have, because you're quite successful too. Irene, you've done an incredible job with this. And I've heard you talk about this world that you've built and how you're into the world building. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And then we're going to watch your trailer for this book. Okay. But tell me a little bit about what Fiendish is about, and how, like, what went into like the world building process. How did you get into all of that?
So I think I've always been a world builder. It really is kind of something I would say I do instinctively, because I remember being a kid and some of my favorite books were books on, I had like children's books on history, on like how kids grew up in like the Roman Empire, ancient Mayan society and stuff. And my favorite book growing up, and it's still one of my favorites, is Dinotopia. And I remember being so into it and being so amazed at this guy. I mean, obviously the art is beautifully. If you guys haven't seen Dinotopia, it's kind of a children's book, but it's not. It's one of those books where it's good for kids to read, but the paintings are like realistic paintings of this hidden island where dinosaurs still exist and they cohabit with humans. And the story is about like a 19th century man who gets shipwrecked there with his son, and they're kind of discovering this society. And it's beautiful art. James Gurney, the artist, is a National Geographic painter who paints paleo art, and so it looks so real. And I remember just staring at it because in this fantasy dinosaur world, and I love dinosaurs, so this is like amazing, and I wanted it to be real so bad that he would do these cutout drawings of buildings and show exactly how buildings were customized so dinosaurs and humans could cohabit, and like design chairs for dinosaurs to sit on. And he designed this writing system where dinosaurs use their feet to make imprints and make patterns to make letters, and that was the alphabet in Dinotopia. And like that was what was in my head when I was little. So I started like creating my own like hidden island fantasy world. I remember being in like 5th or 6th grade, and my school notebooks, I had like these school notebooks that were not anything from class. I was just like writing stories about my own fantasy island, and like with like weird kind of like it probably was like half Pokemon, half Dinotopia, and it just didn't stop from there. So I've always
That's
like
so cute. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, I don't probably Velociraptor.
Ooh, really?
Or not like the movie Jurassic Park movie one, because real velociraptors aren't that. They're little. Or Archaeopteryx. I think they're really cool because they fly. I've always liked that.
Oh, wow, how fascinating. Because most people, usually you hear like, what's your favorite dinosaur? T-Rex, because it's like the biggest one. So like, for someone to actually name something else, that's interesting.
No, they are cool. T-Rex are really fascinating. I mean, just they are fascinating in many ways. They're but I don't know. I always kind of you can't really explain this. I like Archaeopteryx. I think that's my main.
Let me look this up.
Preference.
Which one? What is
it's the feathered Archaeopteryx. It's like the feathered one they found. It was like one of the first dinosaurs they found with feather dinosaur fossil with feather imprints. And I remember seeing that, and I just thought that was really cool. And that, now we know that a lot of dinosaurs probably had feathers or proto-feathers, but Archaeopteryx was one of the first ones. I think I like them because they could fly. And I like pteranodons as well, but I just thought Archaeopteryxes were cuter because they were feathered, and pteranodons kind of look weird.
I know very little about dinosaurs. I just think they're like cool looking. Like
they are cool looking.
Look at that. That's the bird you're talking about.
Yeah,
this one kind of looks like a phoenix.
Yes, they look like phoenixes. Isn't it cool?
That's cool.
Yeah, they're like
I love
dino phoenixes.
Look at that. It's like a dino phoenix.
I was like a dino bird.
Isn't it so trippy to think about how like our planet used to have these alien looking things? Like they're like literally like this is our planet. Like we used to have this stuff on Earth. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, and I know dinosaurs can never exist today because the entire biome and the oxygen content of the world has changed. It's just totally different. But it does make you think, like, what if they do still exist, or like in an alternate universe?
Alternate universe, or like what is it, 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Like when he goes, like the Jules Verne thing, like when he goes like into the thing, or the Journey to the Center of the Earth. I mean, when he's like he goes into the center of the earth, and then he's like, they find the dinosaurs, and I'm like, oh my god, I love that. I love that story so much. Jules Verne like tripped me the F out when I was little. He was my favorite author. Like I was like, I would always read his books, and I'd be like so tripped out, and like just blew my mind all the time. But let's take a look at this Fiendish trailer. And I see a lot of people in the chat saying that this is one of the best trailers out there. So let's have a look at what is going on here. You draw pretty, ladies.
Thank you.
Ooh, oh no.
No, it's buffering.
It's probably my internet. Or It's not even my internet. It's YouTube has been so weird recently. It's just YouTube. It just keeps like glitching out. I don't know why.
Do you
Let me.
maybe,
Yeah, will you share it?
maybe I can share the file like straight from my computer.
Oh no, look, it's going now.
Okay.
It just needs a second.
Okay.
I like the music.
Thanks. It's by Divya. DZIVIA.
Free to seek vengeance. That's awesome, dude. Woo!
Yay!
Now, how many books is it going to be? Like the whole thing?
It is 9 books.
9 books.
9 main books, and it's I have heard that it's a stupid idea that for my first. I mean, it's not my first comic project, but it's my first like series. This was kind of an issue when I did try to pitch Fiendish to publishers actually, but they didn't want it. The couple that I did pitch to, they either didn't like. There's this weird thing where because I have a manga influence, some publishers don't like that, but also a lot of publishers want miniseries. If you're not already known, they don't trust creators like if you're pitching a long form series. So, and I understand that on a certain level.
Yeah, on a business level, I can get that too. Like we don't know you, or if you're gonna provide, like they have like kind of the. But then again, it's like business is all about risk. So if you can't take the risk, then it's like you're not gonna succeed either if you don't risk it, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't blame them, so I decided I'd just do my own thing, and now I'm glad I did because I don't have anybody telling me what to do, and I get to keep all the money.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Hey!
Yes, that's really, really good. Trucker Rob, thank you for the $2. Says, Renie is adorable. She is. She really is. Thank you for that, Trucker Rob. Honk, honk to you, sir. Honk, honk to you. So everybody, the link for Fiendish is in the description as well as all of Renie's links. So, her Twitter, all of it, her website, go check it out. Back the project, back independent comic book. Because if you're sick of all woke BS, then back independence, because that's what it's all about. Yes. And now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about some topics in the news. Now, you told me that you were also into games and video gaming.
Not super, actually.
Not super?
No, not really.
What was the last video game you played?
I played The Last God of War. But I play I'm really not that into gaming. I play like 1 game a year. What happened was I lived with a lot of gamers in the past, and I know a lot of gamers now. But I really don't play a lot of video games.
But because games can be a life suck. I do know that. So for an artist, you're like, I need to get to work. I can't do this. I have that struggle sometimes. I'm like, I just want to play video games. I don't want to do anything. But this did catch my eye though, because I feel like we're going down this path, and I complimented you on creating really, really lovely ladies in your comic book, and I think you can draw women really well. You can draw men well too, but specifically, I'm highlighting your female drawings because I feel like this day and age, especially in the comic book industry, most female characters no longer look like female characters. They look like men. or they're uglified and they look really ugly, or I don't know, but there's problems with the female character's design. And recently I saw this going around, which was like this picture of the new Fable character design, like a new character in Fable, and it was going around everywhere. And then shout out to Yellow Flash, I saw him repost it because I thought that Fable character was ugly as shit. Now we know why. And this dude apparently went to track down. So this is the Fable character. And
yeah, I saw that. It's been memed to hell and back. It's hilarious. Oh my god. I can't believe.
I couldn't believe that this was a real character, that they thought that was a good idea. Like this was like really, really intense. But apparently this person who designed the character is Chris Morris, who's a was it some personal news today? My first like they're like a they there's this level designer, playground games, Fable, non-binary, trans, femme, they, them, secretly a deer.
What?
Apparently, like, do you remember that dude that was like a deer person on Twitch?
Oh no.
Yeah, there was like a few years ago, there was like this dude that came out and was like, I'm a deer person. And like they worked for like the Twitch moderating team, and they were like modding people, like, and they were like banning people for basically calling them crazy because they were talking about being a deer, and they're like, I'm a deer, and they're like, I'm gonna feed myself.
Right.
Like, the whole freaking thing. So apparently this is one of those people that's like, I'm a deer. And they look like they look like this is a self-insert. Like they're like, I'm just gonna put myself in the video game because, well, why not? Because I can.
Oh dear. Puns. Puns. Well, that now that I see the comparison, I mean, it's kind of small on my screen, but
Yeah,
it could be.
I can't
honestly
blow it up more.
There we go. The real person doesn't look that ugly. It's like, if it is a self-insert, she put herself in a video game and made herself even uglier.
I know.
Like,
I feel like I'm gonna go full screen just so you can see it a little bit better here. Okay. I feel like the character is actually uglier than the person. Like,
yes,
it's weird because
yes.
Like, why is this character? Hold on, I have a better picture of the character. I'll pull it up because that character is just god awful. Like, I'm like, I don't understand why you think that this is a good idea. Like, and this happens constantly, Renie. Like, where I'm like, why do these creators think that creating the ugliest character possible is something that is going to attract people and be like, yep, I'm buying that. Like, I don't.
Right.
Can you like expand on the what do you think is happening? Like, Marvel does this constantly. Why is it that Marvel constantly puts out really ugly characters? Like, I don't know what's happening over there. Here's the one of the pictures.
What is happening? That face is not even a woman's face. Like, look at that brow ridge and that jaw.
No, it's not. This is 100% a biological male with like a dress.
That's what it looks like.
I mean, she's literally like man-spreading. He's man-spreading over here. Like, this is not a female character by any stretch.
It's just mind-blowing. It's like they feministed so hard. Well, I mean, nobody cares about feminism now anymore because apparently women shouldn't have their own spaces, and it's all that biological women don't matter. But it's like they want to destroy what women and what women like. Like, women like to look pretty. We like looking sexy, and it's like they want to discourage women from looking conventionally beautiful and that kind of representation. And it's like we're being gaslit by being told, well, conventionally beautiful women are unrealistic and toxic. No, it's not. It's something to aspire to. What is this? And not on top of the fact that, I mean, yeah, people do like, if you want to sell a product, people like looking at beautiful women, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just basic human psychology. I really don't understand it other than this weird ideology now. Kind of, they want to cater. I kind of have been thinking about this. It's like they want to cater to the lowest common denominator, and that's the general across all society. This is how in so many industries and entertainment and in comics, this is because I'm in comics and I see it a lot. People are promoted not on merit anymore. It's on your inborn characteristics, on your politics. It's not about merit, and it's about catering to the lowest common denominator, because that's what happens when you don't hire based on merit. And they kind of gaslight you and code it in nice words like diversity, but you can have natural diversity if you just focus on merit. But they're gaslighting us by saying, oh, the only way to be really diverse is to purposely hire people based on like their inborn character sets. And this is another aspect of it, this general ideology that wants everybody to be as ugly and and lazy, and like this is like something that's pervasive through all of this, like all the stuff that's going wrong in general world culture. I think that kind of explains it.
It's such a psyop. It feels like a psyop because it's just like it's a constant, like what you're saying, like and merit has nothing to do with anything anymore. We're constantly told, if you're, if you check these boxes, you're fine. If you don't, then you're not, like, and usually, especially even, you said yourself, you've experienced this in the independent comic, arena, especially with comicsgate, comes certain connotations, like, how you're a Yahtzee, or like, and usually if anyone actually comments about any sort of thing like this, like, I'm like, I don't find this pretty, or I don't like it, or whatever. People label you things immediately, like you're a phobe of this, of that. And it's just like a constant battle, and people don't know what to do anymore. They're like, I feel like, especially normies, they don't really understand, because I feel like normies, they're not in it like the way we are. So they're constantly like, well, why don't I like this? Like there's something wrong with it, but I can't put my finger on it, but there's something wrong with it. I feel like this like aversion to it, where I'm like, like I don't like that, but I don't know what it is. And I can't really vocalize it, because if I do vocalize it, then I'll get canceled, because people will think I'm some sort of phobe, or I'm a racist, or like whatever. And it's just like a constant thing. I find it interesting though, that the companies don't learn. Like that's one of the things that I'm constantly kind of baffled about, is the fact that the big companies have decided, no, this is the hill we're going to die on. We're going to die on the hill of ESGs. We're going to die on the hill of promoting obesity as healthy. We're going to die on the hill of whatever the fuck this thing is. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, like, yeah, like, let's make a new Fable game with this. Like, what the fuck is that? No, like, show us something good.
It's a constant downhill, because they did it to Aloy as well. And
yes. Oh my God.
To the Last of Us as well. It's like we went from this really good game. Well, that Last of Us was like multiple layers of fuckery, but obviously in the second game, besides from all the other problems, it was sort of why there weren't really any attractive female characters. And there was this one girl who was, I think that was Ellie's love interest. I didn't play the game, but I saw some playthroughs. Like the real actress was gorgeous, and when they recreated her in the game, they just uglified her. And they keep on doing this
all the time. Oh my God, I was talking to Melanie Mack the other day, and I think they're doing it to Tomb Raider. They're doing it to Lara Croft.
Of all the games, like Tomb Raider's the one that's like, she's this hot chick who's raiding tombs, and that's the selling point. She's hot.
Right. And cool, like, they're like, nah, like this is too hot. Like, have you seen, there was when I did my show with Melanie Mack, she showed me this thing, and I was like, there's no fucking way that they thought this was a good idea. I don't know if I can find it now, but it was a toy line, like it was a figure, and it literally looked like a man. I was like, why? And she's like, I don't know. And it was like it was like this new toy that they were coming out with, and they had made Laura Croft look like a dude. And I was like,
Oh.
why is this even happening? I'm trying to find that picture right now, but I can't because obviously
This
I need
image
it
is
right
so,
this
like,
minute.
genuinely a little disturbing. It's I'm telling you, it's the lowest common denominator, because their excuse is, well, we want to represent people, like women, how they look in real life. But there are supermodels. There are women that are absolutely beautiful, and they're conventionally gorgeous and everything, and that's what used to be recognized as, obviously this is what people want to see in video games and such. But it's like now they gaslight us and say, well, we have to represent normal women. Well, normal women, that's not really the point. Like, are they doing this to dudes? Because are you putting, if it's like a male character, it would be like, well, instead of in an action story, instead of having like a really buff action hero who's handsome and like that sells the game, and because it's a fantasy and we want to see that and it's entertainment, they'll say, well, that's not realistic. We want to represent the like 300-pound person who is a slob, and that's more realistic because they need representation. And it's like, it's the lowest common denominator.
Yeah,
Why
did you
are
see
we
that Dove commercial that they
Yes,
did
I
that with
did. It's the same thing.
that,
Like, why
yeah.
are we promoting this? Why shouldn't we? Like, not that there's some people are just not conventionally attractive. It's not discrimination to say that. That doesn't mean they deserve to be treated differently. But when it comes to entertainment, we like seeing beautiful characters, and it's good to have something to aspire to, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Well, especially
right.
when it comes to superheroes, right? Because you want to see
Yeah.
the best side of humanity, not the worst side of humanity. And usually when it's like, when you have like superheroes that are like, you know, the bad guys, or like the big crazy weirdos, usually you have those kind of features like overdone like that, like kind of like the Juggernaut or like whatever. Like you have these really big giant fat dudes, like even the Kingpin, right? Like the Kingpin's like this really giant fat dude, and he's like the evil dude. But it's like that's what it's about, right? Comic books and superhero stories and things like that are to exemplify, like personify the extremes in everyone, whether you're good or bad, right? Like, so if you're good, you're gonna have like, you know, massive titties, and like, you know, you're gonna have like the hour-shaped glass, and you're gonna have like, you know, the really sexy, like, you know, hot ladies, and you know, long flowing hair. The hair is very important, I feel like, especially in comic books. For me, it's really important for men and women, but especially for women. So like, you know, you want that Wonder Woman flowing hair and blah, blah, blah. That's one of the things that's happened recently. I feel like all the women are getting their hairs like chopped off. Like, it's like, we don't really have flowing hair anymore. Like, so many people are just getting like boy haircuts. And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, look at this. This is that figure that I was telling you about. Like, what is going on with this? Like, it looks like a dude. Her hair is shorter, much shorter than it used to be. Like, because I mean, like the Lara Croft braid comes down to usually like her butt. Like it's very long braid. Where are her boobs? She has no boobs. She's got pecs. Her entire, like, her weird upper body. She's got like a chiseled jaw. She's got this weird smirk. Like this. Look at these boots. Like, what is this?
Giant, like, puffy boots. You know, it didn't look that bad from afar, but now that you zoomed in, I'm like, this doesn't look like what they changed her so much. She's supposed to have giant boobs, and she was like, her face looks that's kind of a man face. I'm not gonna lie. It just doesn't look like her. And it's not as bad as Fable, but this is definitely, they're doing this on purpose. This is not how she used to look.
Yeah.
But why? Why can't we have beautiful women? It's such gaslighting when they say they want to represent, it's about representation or representing normal women, but also another excuse is it's harmful to women to be constantly pressured to be conventionally beautiful. And well, to the extreme, that's true. If you're like pushing people to all be super skinny and to that point of causing
Sure.
eating disorders, but that's not what we're saying. It's like they've gone so
Mm-mm.
far in the opposite direction, and that's kind of what's going on in society in general. They've revolted so hard against rigid traditional standards that we've just gone towards let's not have any standards at all, and it's seeping into our
Right.
entertainment.
That is so true. It's like, let's not have any standards at all. Like that's definitely something that, I think you hit on really well, because it's just that it's a constant, like, especially that's what I feel like with the body positivity movement. I feel like it's a constant, like, well, like, let's just let ourselves go, because that's also healthy. We're constantly being gaslighted into thinking that unhealthy means healthy, healthy means unhealthy. Like, it's just a really strange situation all around.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff. We should tolerate crime, we should be okay with being unhealthy, it's okay to not put any effort into yourself, it's okay to not have to work hard and just complain and say that you're being
Be a
discriminated
victim.
against, and
Yeah.
be a victim and say that you deserve things just because you feel bad and you feel like you're oppressed. That means you are oppressed, and you don't have to work hard anymore. I mean, it's just they want everyone to just be a victim and not work hard and not better themselves. And it's
Mhm.
horrible. This is like that's the worst. That's just it's like they're trying to cause a downfall of society. I don't see how it can't be that. But we're
Mhm.
told that this is like the moral thing to do. The moral thing to do is to encourage people to not try hard anymore and let themselves go. Right.
Right. It's like the moral and the virtue signaling. Like, it's like the constant, like this constant battle with morality and virtue, and like, a lot of that kind of stuff. And usually the people who virtue signal the loudest are like the weirdest, cringiest people. At the end of the day, you find out, like, even the right wingers, right? Like, you feel like the ones that are like, I'm so virtuous and I'm so this, and then all of a sudden it comes out like, so and so's cheating on his wife, or like, they're doing this and they're doing that, and you're like, like, maybe hold off with your virtue signaling just a little bit, just get your house in order or whatever. But let me get these couple of super chats that came in here. The Ginger Ninja, thank you for the 500 yen. Says, great to see Renie on here, Nina. She is an inspiration for artists like myself. Onward and upward to you, to both of you. Thank you, Ginger Ninja. To infinity and beyond. That is so sweet. Aww. And Slosher here for 550, thank you, says escapism should be an escape from reality, not woke propaganda. That is a very good point, and I agree with you, sir. I agree. Okay. Well, Fable, that's gonna be an interesting game. I'm gonna just gonna have to wait and see. Let's see if they keep going with it. Like, I'm, because you know how, like, there's usually outcries and sometimes they change their mind. They're like, maybe we shouldn't do this. But we'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see, to see if anything gets remedied. But we're going to move on to the next topic now, which is all of this crazy stuff that's coming out about, well, aliens. Apparently, aliens are here. UFOs have been here. I mean, it's nuts. Now, from my point of view, I think this kind of stuff is really funny because I've been one of those people who's kind of followed the UFO alien crowd for a long time. Like, I've been interested in this kind of stuff for a very, very long time. I remember when one of like the first wave of people to get, totally railroaded on YouTube with the UFO channel people and conspiracy theory people like Alex Jones, and the UFO channels, and like the people who were trying to warn of something happening, something's out there, there's something going on, and YouTube completely railroaded everyone. That was the first time that Alex Jones got banned off YouTube, and everybody else. And then now, years later, come to this environment of the mainstream picking up that there's UFOs out there, that there's, the Pentagon is admitting that there's been UFOs out there and everything like that. Whistleblowers coming out and talking about all sorts of stuff. Renie, have you been keeping up with any of this stuff? Are you like, oh my God, what is happening? Like I am?
I'm into some sorts of conspiracy-ish YouTube channels. Like one of my favorite channels is the Y-Files. I think they're awesome, and I'm more into like kind of the ancient civilization stuff. But recently,
yes, those are good.
Yeah, I love that stuff. But right now, like the alien stuff, because I've kind of been in a hole because working because of I was wrapping up Fiendish and I'm nearing fulfillment. But I have seen this whole stuff about aliens are real, and like apparently there are people calling in and saying they saw aliens, and then there's a really bad CGI video of this weird creature in someone's yard. And this makes me sus because I was kind of ready, like on the fence believer. I thought it would be really cool. I was hoping it was real, more like that was my stance on aliens. Until now, where it's being almost pushed by the mainstream, and now I'm suspicious. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, and actually that's a really good point, because I feel like that might even be part of the psyop, because I do believe in aliens. I think that aliens exist. I think they've existed for a long time, like, because we believe in ancient civilizations, and I think they've been around. They've been here. It's a I believe in those kind of things, but I can see how someone because I also believe that the government is full of shit. So I can see how someone would be like, well, now that the government's talking about it, maybe it's all bullshit. And I think maybe that's part of the plan too. I think that that's kind of like, it's interesting to me that they're releasing it now, because let's face it, Renie, don't you think that right now, more than ever before, especially in the United States, and maybe Canada, I would say Western, kind of like Western, North American especially, that right now people trust the government less than any other time in history? Don't you feel like that's kind of how, the vibe, that people just don't trust the government anymore, especially after COVID?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. It's COVID, but it's sort of this gradual realization of all the disinformation we've been under. And I don't know if just because the internet age has made us more aware of how much the government gaslights us and how many psyops they run on their own people. But I feel like since the early 2000s, it's just been this kind of downfall. And you see it in how regular people perceive their trust in the news and the government. It's just been going down and down. And I think recently there's been a nosedive. And I mean, I think we're in trouble, but absolutely, COVID kind of totally screwed it up. There was like this spike where even normies, regular people, they believed that there was a pandemic and it was the end of the world. But then as the information slowly started to come out and all the problems and the lies that the government told them arose, and the people I know who are regular people that don't follow culture war stuff have been saying this. Their trust in the government was broken because of all the disinformation. So I don't really know how the alien stuff ties into this. I do feel like it's definitely a psyop, though. It's either some kind of control thing, or they're trying to distract us from some news about very prominent political figures that I don't know if we should talk about, but I'm sure because it's always about distraction, right? Because even if I do think it's possible that we have had contact with aliens. There has been so many people coming out and saying so, with like we've had contact, we've had the technology, but just the fact that they're pushing it now, it makes me wonder why.
Yeah,
that's a question I have, because I'm like, I'm not even interested in aliens anymore. I want to know why you're trying to shove this down our throat.
Me too. Like that's why I'm kind of like, wow, because I feel like 16, 17-year-old me would be like, oh my fucking God, like, oh my God, the Pentagon like came out and fucking confirmed that there's UFOs. Like, oh my God, like people are literally talking about fucking aliens on the news. Like, I would be freaking out if you told me half the shit I just read like today, like, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I would be like, no fucking way, you're crazy. Like one of the craziest things that I saw on Twitter, I think it was that people were asking why now, right? And there was a lot of kind of like memes going around of this whole thing with NASA, because they're like, oh, because they're doing this investigation now and everything. So they're saying like, and NASA's like, we're really we're serious about the investigation and everything like that. Like, basically kind of like, please believe us. And everyone was like, oh, you mean like how you questioned everyone else for the last how long when they said like, we've been abducted by aliens, we've seen UFOs, like we've seen all this stuff. And it was always like, no, you guys are wrong. There's no such things. Don't do not look like it's always been the government and NASA in unison has always run cover for basically and calling us conspiracy theories forever. It's been like that forever. And now all of a sudden it's like, please believe us. We're actually doing studies. And it's just like, who do we believe? Like, who do we believe? Yeah, cattle mutilations, all sorts of shit. There's been crazy stuff going on for so long. And now we're going to watch something that's you're going to see like the mainstream, like what is going on in the mainstream. We're going to watch that. In just a second here. Trucker Rob for $2 says ancient civilizations be still my beating heart. I know. Have you seen the ancient civilizations thing on Netflix?
Ancient Apocalypse?
Yeah. Ancient Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes, it was so good. Yeah.
I love that stuff.
It's great. It's great, and he gets maligned as well. Oh my gosh, it's like they were kind of ignoring him, and there was the people who were his detractors were kind of in the archaeology community, and it was this whole people who just didn't want their research questioned, right? But recently, after Ancient Apocalypse came out, it's like the smears. Everything's just been in overdrive recently because I get it especially with like the ayahuasca stuff, some people think he's kooky, but I think he has some really good points about he's actually gone to geologists and he's gone to scientists because he's a journalist, but he's gone to people who know the research, and he's made some good points about like the erosion around the Sphinx and all kinds of things that I think are very interesting and we should ask questions about and be doing more underwater archaeology. But now he's made this documentary and it's on Netflix, and it's like he's reaching a wider audience, and the attacks against him are insane. They're calling him racist, which makes no sense. It's like, how is he racist? He's saying, and he's not an alien person. He's saying that ancient humans in all these different parts of the world that are not Europe, by the way. He's like these ancient Africans and Indians and ancient Native Americans
Mayan,
were more advanced than we thought. He's like, these people who are not my race are more advanced and their history needs to be uncovered. And I love their history. Also, he's married to, I think, an Indian woman. It's insane. But anyways, it's a different topic.
But it is kind of the same topic though, because you're right. Because understand it goes hand in hand, because understanding that there may be other civilizations out there, or that there may be aliens out there, whatever, it kind of throws our entire perspective as humans into question, right? Because you're like, well, if aliens are out there, what else is possible? Like, is it possible that other civilizations that are, that are us existed as well? Ancient civilizations existed as well, because we know that there's cataclysmic events that happen every so often, because that is what happens to the earth. We go through cycles and everything like that. So we know these cataclysmic events have happened that destroyed the dinosaurs, that have destroyed probably other civilizations. So is it possible that other civilizations were on earth as well, that were advanced, maybe like Atlantis, maybe even further back than Atlantis? It's really fascinating to think about. And these topics are starting to make us question these things. They're making us question everything. And I find it all very fascinating. So let me show you this bit of news here. We're going to watch this because this is basically the military dude. This is a military whistleblower claims U.S. has UFO retrieval program. And I think it's also interesting to note that the government, for some reason, don't want us to call them UFOs anymore. They're called UAEs. Or no, wait, not, what are they called? What are they called again? They're called unidentified anomalous phenomena, like UAPs. That's what they're called now. So again, I don't subscribe to that. I'm going to call them UFOs till the end of time because I don't see why we need to change that narrative now. But for some reason, the government wants us to call them UAPs. And I don't think they're UAPs. Okay.
Yeah,
I
why?
don't think-
What's the point of changing the? What's wrong with UFO? Does that offend somebody now? Probably does.
Unidentified flying object versus this whatever the hell I just said to you, aerial phenomenon or whatever. Yeah, unidentified aerial phenomenon, which I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is, but there's something not right about it. But okay, here we go. This lady is gonna interview that dude or the other dude.
Bombshell claims from a military whistleblower. UFO wreckage recovered by the U.S. kept classified by a secret government program for decades. Tonight, a world television exclusive you will only see on News Nation. Welcome.
I love how like these news people are like, aliens are here, but tonight only on News Nation. Like it's like, oh my god, like this is a pretty big deal that we're talking about freaking whistleblowers talking about freaking aliens and UFOs, but only on News Nation, guys.
Right. And you can tell these people their jobs are just they're reading teleprompters, they're saying the things that they're told to say. I feel like nothing exemplifies that fact more than a lot of these reports that I have seen. And that's why is she glaring at? Is this like a really strange pause for you
That's
as
a
well?
really bad pause right here.
Right, because it's like how they're presenting this like, have you heard about aliens? The government has been keeping the secret for years. It's like we all knew. We have YouTube. We've heard about this thing.
In other news, the sky is blue.
Blowing. Yeah, we've all heard the conspiracy theories. By the way, in the government, you've ruined people's lives over this. So, are you going to be held accountable for that?
Oh, that's a really good point. Swain, thank you for the $1.99. Says, I don't know about aliens, but Megan Fox is a witch now. Wow. Okay.
She is a mess. Have you
she's
seen the
crazy,
thing?
but she's been crazy forever.
I didn't know because I don't follow her because I have no idea. But apparently I just saw she forces her sons to dress like girls, and she's like, and I'm like that's the one thing I saw recently. I'm like, okay, this is fucked up.
That's just weird. Script Doctor says if aliens did come to the Earth and asked to be taken to our leaders, there would be a lot of hesitations from the population. Like they're all dumb. Trucker Rob, thank you for the 5. The aliens are all swamp gas, Nina. Trust the science. Oh my god.
Oh no.
UAP equals unisex anal probes. Wow. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, here we go.
Elizabeth Vargas reports, earning your trust every night.
Earning your trust every night.
Really?
We're earning your trust with this news report.
If you tell us to trust us,
the U.S. government found quite a number of them, and they are indeed of non.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh, I said if they keep on telling us to trust them, we'll definitely trust them.
Right, exactly, because they're earning your trust by telling you that they're earning your trust.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are like, I'm earning your trust right now by telling you that, well, aliens fucking exist.
A number of them, and they are indeed of non-human origin. Those are the explosive allegations from a former intelligence officer tonight in a whistleblower complaint that the Inspector General is taking very seriously. 36-year-old Air Force veteran David Grush is exposing what he calls a top-secret military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact UFOs. The government now calls them UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. For years, there have been whispers and rumors that the government had aircraft of non-human origin. This report is the first evidence it might be true. The Inspector General has called Grush's complaint urgent and credible.
This report is the first report that it might be true. Dun, dun, dun! Like, holy shit. That is like, I mean, do you hear her? Like, what she's saying is one of the most insane things that we have. Basically, it's a bombshell that this should be talked about everywhere. Now, my Twitter feed, all of it has been, you know, the Bidens invited a trans person to the White House and they flashed everybody. So, I mean, even as much as the mainstream it is right now, my Twitter feed is mostly like that stuff. Like a lot of all like I see is that kind of stuff. Barely anyone is talking about this. Like I'm like, who's talking about this stuff? Because this is actually kind of crazy. What they're saying is kind of insane. But let's keep going.
Tonight we.
Oh, sorry.
Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, doesn't that exemplify how little we care about mainstream media and how little we trust them?
Well, they're earning your trust right now, Renie.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
They're earning your trust.
I feel it. Every day.
We have a world television exclusive interview with the whistleblower in which he claims we not only have the aircraft, but the government has been keeping much of it secret from Congress and from the public. News Nation's senior national
The government's been keeping it secret from the public and Congress. No shit, lady. No shit. This has been going on for years. Like, holy fuck.
So this is stuff we all knew when she's saying this. Like, you need to be shocked and amazed. Oh my God. It's like, we all knew. Great. Yeah.
Right. Like,
go away.
No fucking shit.
Correspondent Brian Enton is here with the story, and this is a blockbuster.
It is a blockbuster. It's really hard to wrap your mind around this. I've been working on this for the past couple of weeks. I'm still having a hard time processing all of it over the last couple.
Yeah, all their minds, all their little minds are being shattered because it's like they've been told for years. They've been told all the conspiracy theory people are nuts. Never believe anyone that tells you that they saw an alien. If you ever even fucking hear the words UFO or alien or whatever, immediately just look the other way. Do not engage with these crazy people unless you want to be canceled, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And now they're told, hey, you got to push this narrative now. This is the line we're pushing now. Here's a whistleblower. You go interview them. So this guy's like, my mind, man, like, holy shit. Like, I had to open my mind to some shit. And, you know, which they've been basically told to hold back on for forever, which I find it interesting.
Having a hard time processing all of it over the last couple of years. It sort of became mainstream to discuss UFOs. The government has released videos. They've acknowledged that we don't know what some of this stuff is out there that we have on camera, but this really takes it all to another.
They acknowledge that we don't know what some of the stuff is out there. Well, I mean, that doesn't really explain much at all, does it? Like, I mean, we didn't know 20 years ago either. Like, I mean, they're not saying anything we didn't know already. We know something's out there. We don't know
right. It's just, it seems like if he is genuine, which I don't think he is, but all of these people that are trying to be like, this is so mind-blowing, did you know about this? They're just really badly informed, or they just literally say and do whatever they're told by the government and by the companies, and they have no idea that this stuff has been on the internet forever. And we know.
Mm-hmm.
Level. For the very first time, the world is about to hear from a former high-level U.S. intelligence officer who says the government has some of the unidentified craft in its possession. He is revealing these exclusive details about the secret government program.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
We have all seen these blurry videos of unidentified flying objects. Video evidence, if you will, that old tales of UFOs may not all be conspiracy theories. In recent years, Congress starting an official U.S. government Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, recently renamed the All-Domain Anomaly.
This always reminds me of Parks and Recreation, because the government needs a task force for anything to do anything ever. So they're like, recently we've decided to put a task force into discovering if UFOs are real or not. What we should have been doing for the past 50 years or so, but we've decided to do it now. Maybe, but we won't even tell you what we find. Either way, here you go.
Resolution Office, or ARROW. And now in a News Nation exclusive, David Grush, an Air Force veteran, former member of that task force and veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, is formally blowing the whistle on secrets he says no one has ever shared publicly before.
By the way, I think the reason that he is even allowed to speak on these things is because he's been given permission to speak on these things.
Absolutely.
Like,
I was thinking this seems very controlled, because if they want to come out and say, well, the government is finally admitting to all these conspiracy theories being real, why don't you bring out all the people that have been whistleblowers in the past? Because this isn't the first guy who has been in either in the space program or in the military, or has claimed to work in secret bases that have been doing alien craft research, like Bob Lazar, that have tried to be whistleblowers. So why don't you come out and spotlight those people and say, we're sorry, let's go back, these people were right all along, or at least some of what they said was right. But who is this guy? Where are you coming from? Like, this is very controlled.
I feel like it's fascinating because it's like I feel like he's definitely part of the problem, like in a sense, and calling him a whistleblower in general is so incorrect, because a whistleblower is someone who is definitely doing it without being ordered to do it. I think he's definitely been ordered to do it. Like, he's been told, this is the line of thing that you can talk about, this is the level of thing you can talk about, and this is it, this is fine. I don't even think that the title of whistleblower, because a whistleblower comes out and doesn't care what the government says, right? Like, they're, Julian Assange or like somebody like that. Like, they don't actually, they don't care about the consequences of what they're whistleblowing, right? They're like, I'm gonna blow the lid off this shit because I feel like what's happened is wrong. I don't think that's what this guy is. That's not his story, I don't think. But here we go.
You are one of the most trusted former intelligence officials in the US defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yes.
Grush sitting down with award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me. They were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grush alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying...
once again, is that a shocker? We knew, Area 51, we knew that the government has had alien aircrafts for years. Even Donald Trump talked about the shit I've seen and the shit I could tell you about the UFOs. He said something like that would really trip you out. Anyone who's gotten into that high of a government knows the kind of things that the government, the US government, has had access to for quite a long time. So again, they're not really saying anything new, but at the same time, they're not saying anything new. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. They are saying things that are new, but they're also not. This is for the normie audience. This is mostly for people who've never really entertained the idea that the government has had dealings with, alien aircrafts or anything like that.
He gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the intelligence community inspector general. News Nation has confirmed David Grush's credentials and resume. We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
So he's literally only giving you what the government is allowing him to give.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not a whistleblower unless you had to seek asylum in Russia. Okay,
Right.
You're not a whistleblower. This is controlled information.
This guy hasn't seen shit himself, or so he says. He's like, I haven't really seen shit myself, but so and so told me, and they've had a lot of credentials. So, I'm earning your trust, guys. That's what's going on here.
I've been told things that I totally haven't seen the crafts or stuff, but I really have heard a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of things too, but hell, I'm not going out there calling myself a whistleblower. But okay, here we go.
You're right. If you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation.
Yeah, we've been lied to for like decades, and I was part of that lie, guys. I just totally went along with it for like the longest time, but then I was like, you know what? Like, if you're gonna give me some money, I can maybe be a whistleblower for you instead, guys. But okay, I don't know, but they've been part of this fucking lie that they've been perpetuating forever, forever. This guy has played a part.
Campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone. Yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
It's also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept of a crashed object from somewhere else. It's easier to accept that, yeah, we see things in the sky that we can't explain.
Journalist Leslie Kane broke Rush's whistleblower story this morning in the debrief. Ms. Kane's career has been mainstream and credible, having written a series of reports on UFOs in the New York Times dating back to 2017. He has the credentials, but there's no documents that he's handed over. There's no pictures. And as a journalist, you want to see documents, you want to see pictures. Does that raise a red flag?
Not at all, Brian. I mean, you mean documents that actually describe the craft?
Correct. Yeah, like government documents, or to be able to see it for ourselves.
Of course. Don't we all want that? And the problem with that is all of that information is classified.
Why?
As we said in the story.
Why is it classified? I don't understand. If there is an actual, if there's actual alien, aircraft on the planet, and there's an actual... if there's actual aliens, why is it classified? Don't we all have the right to know that we share this universe with another species, or maybe multiple other species? I mean, I don't know how many kind of alien fucking aircrafts they have, or is it of the same kind, or is it different races? How many races have actually visited our planet? How many aircrafts do you guys have? Why does it have to be classified? I don't understand this thing. Okay, now that they're like, oh yeah, we do have the proof, but it's all classified. You guys can't see it though. I just don't really know what to say to that. I'm like, okay, so same shit as before then. We know that it's there, but we don't know it's there. Okay.
Everything that Grush told Congress and told the Inspector General of both the IC, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and the Department of Defense Inspector General, all of that information is classified.
In 2017, Kane reported exclusively in the New York Times that the Pentagon had a secret UFO program. 3 years later, the Pentagon confirmed her story. Her latest report is even more explosive, but Kane says she has multiple sources who back up Grush's story.
Yeah, interestingly, that news that came out, it just said the Pentagon confirmed her story or whatever. That was in 2020. That was at the height of 2020 when everyone was locked down, and it was the craziest time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Pentagon was like, oh yeah, we've got videos that the UFOs are real.
Oh,
And
right.
it was like a whole thing. It was so lost in the sea of, you know, just misinformation after misinformation about COVID and all the stuff that was coming about COVID at that time, because it was at the height of COVID. So it was a constant, like, everyone's dying, like, you know, you got to mask up, blah, blah, blah. It was a constant thing about COVID. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Pentagon was like, hey guys, the aliens are here. It's okay.
I don't know. I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember that kind of dropping in the background, and some people were freaking out, like, why are we talking about this? But they were really quiet about it. I wonder if this is a long-term thing where they all planned this all along, and they planted the seed of, well, let's drop this seed about the UFO unit in 2020, and then a few years we'll come out with a bigger disclosure. And this might be a little conspiracy theory, and I don't know why they're not showing us any proof yet, because, or even like showing us some fake stuff, like here are the pictures and it might be fake, but they can totally fake, you know, evidence and stuff, because it seems like a control thing. First of all, distracting us from the important news about certain people that are very corrupt, that keep on not being talked about and getting away with all kinds of stuff. But this idea that, well, what if they're working up to, we're under threat, and so now you need the government more. Like, that's what my mind goes to. Like, they've been slowly planting the seed of, well, first it was COVID, and they want to condition us to need the government to protect you from COVID, and now it's this other thing. It's aliens. Like, that's what I think of. It might be real, that the aliens might actually exist, but it's about how they're, you know,
exactly. And I mean, I think about that too. Like, I think, like, you know, what could it be? Like, could it be a distraction on basically kind of like, oh, okay, so now that you know that there's aliens, now we need to keep you guys in your house again, because, you know, it's not safe to go outside because there's aliens. So, like, you know, maybe do we need to have another lockdown for that, or do we need 15-minute cities because, you know, there's aliens out there now? We need to keep everybody safe, and, you know, in a small area that we can keep track of them. Or is it like, you know, or is it more a conventional thing, or a conventional war of, let's say something happens and then they want to blame Russia, and they want to say, like, oh, look what the Russians did. Let's escalate the situation, even though maybe it's aliens. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's like something happens and then they want to say, you know, they want to say that it's Russia so that they can go to war with Russia even more. I don't know. Like, there's just so many things that it could be, but it could also not be. And this is why it's so fascinating to me that they're dropping this kind of stuff now, because, like I said, more than ever before, nobody trusts the government. So this is so interesting to me that they're like, and maybe it's all true. It could all of it be true. And yet we're all sitting here going like, well, I don't really trust you. I don't really trust anything you have to say now. And maybe it is. Maybe it's all fucking true. And we wouldn't know. At this point, be true. Yeah, but at this point we'll be like, well, whatever.
Right. Part of me is like, what do they think? I mean, they do think regular people are this stupid, and it's this weird thing where instead of doing things to earn our trust back, they're kind of doubling down on the fear mongering and the control stuff. And you're right. They're not trying to fix the fact that people don't trust their mainstream news. It's weird.
Or government. Neither of them.
Yep.
Pentagon confirmed her story. Her latest report is even more explosive. McCain says she has multiple sources who back up Grush's story.
I believe it because of all the sources I have who have told me the same thing. So who am I to doubt these very, very high-level people who have been inside these programs for decades, have done their work, and are all telling me the same thing? I mean, I don't think there's some kind of conspiracy among all these people who don't know each other to make something like this up.
So I've got to be blunt about this. You're not making this up. This is not a lie.
No, absolutely not.
Because everybody watching this right now is looking at your face. They're going, is this guy for real?
I am for real. I'm
You're the worst actor ever.
Risk and obvious professional risk by talking to you today.
You're control.
And just within the last 10 minutes or so, the Pentagon has released a statement to News Nation about this report. They say to date, Arrow has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. Arrow is committed to following the data and its investigation wherever it leads. Arrow, working with the Office of the General Counsel and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, has established a safe and secure process for individuals to come forward with information to aid Arrow in its congressionally mandated historical review. Arrow's historical review of records and testimonies is ongoing and due to Congress by June 2024, and Arrow welcomes the opportunity to speak with any former or current employee or contractor who believes they have information relevant to this historical review. And Elizabeth, we
Wow.
know
So
that
the
David
government
Grush
is putting out the call, guys, for anyone who has any information on UFOs or UFO technology. Please contact the government ASAP, especially the Pentagon. They are looking for help to aid you, to aid all of us into discovering whether there's actual alien life in the universe. They won't do anything to you or your family. Trust the government. They won't do
Right.
anything to you if you actually have the info. Okay, we're going to finish this up because I think that the conversation after this is also really fascinating. This is funny.
filed that whistleblower complaint. He's been on the record under oath testifying to many of these things that he said in our report tonight.
Right.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
has.
important to point out that this statement from the Pentagon from Arrow, Grush is alleging that this top secret program is keeping it a secret from Arrow. So
Yeah, exactly. And if Grush is what he's saying is true, the spokespeople, all of those folks at that level wouldn't even know
Wouldn't
this was
even know
going
about
on
it.
anyway.
All right, I got to ask you, he has a compelling story to tell. Very little of it seems like firsthand knowledge. Isn't he just repeating what somebody else has told him or somebody else has showed him?
Yes, that is what he's doing. But he says he's talked to a number of people who are in
But
very, very high
nothing.
level positions. He also had basically the highest level of classified material information that he was able to receive. We went back and checked over, his history, all of his credentials,
checks
check
out.
out, check out
trust us,
completely.
we checked him
Unfortunately,
out.
there's
In
really,
addition, a couple people have come forward publicly to vouch for him, people who are high ranking.
They have. And
Well,
this
he
article first came out this
vouched for
morning, and I
guys.
think it's interesting that, there hasn't been any sort of effort to discredit what he has said either from the Defense Department.
So interesting. So
That is true.
What happens?
That is true.
And have we had any reaction, by the way?
Like the government, and I mean, even the Pentagon, didn't say that anything he said was false. And usually that's what they do. They usually go after character assassination. Usually they say everything they say this guy said is a lie. They're basically, they usually react very differently than they did to this guy, because obviously he's a controlled asset, or whatever you want to call them. They told him what to say, and he's been saying it. And I find that
away
fascinating.
from members of Congress who have been taking this seriously in the last couple of years. We've seen congressional hearings. We've seen NASA's hearing just about a week ago on UFOs or UAPs, whatever you prefer to call them.
UFOs.
We've seen the DNI give a briefing to the White House on this. We've been hearing whispers and rumors for years. I remember even former President Trump, when he was in office, sort of saying, "Oh my gosh, if you knew what I knew about UFOs."
He did say that.
So there's always been this intrigue.
There has. And think about it,
Long
Elizabeth,
before
if you
that,
go
though,
back
the
15
intrigue.
or 20 years, if we were sitting here talking about UFOs, people would think that we were nutty.
Yes.
Now it's gotten to the level of where it is somewhat accepted, because the government has come forward to a certain extent and acknowledged that there are these videos that exist. The Navy has released the videos themselves and said, we're not sure exactly what this is that we're seeing. Of course, what Grush is saying really just sort of takes it to the next level.
Boy, it sure does.
And so I guess the question is why? Why now? Because there was definitely things that he was saying that even we were like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, we all do this, especially if you're into conspiracy theories. It comes out of the question of, yes, the government has stated that the UFOs are real. Yes, the government has stated that there's definitely, an investigation going on into these things. But why now? Why are they admitting that this is all happening now? And I think that that's a really fascinating thing. Do you have any theories? Why do you think this is happening now?
I think probably I haven't been following it super closely, but knowing just from what I've seen, I would go back to my theory from before. I think it's a control thing. Whether or not aliens actually have been here and exist and all this stuff is immaterial at this point. The question is, why is information coming out? And I think it's a tactic to keep people in constant fear because COVID is over. So now let's do the alien thing, and maybe next time it'll be something else. And it is a tactic to scare people and convince regular people that you need the government to protect us, and we're the ones that have all the information. And I'm worried about what happens next because now it's this controlled, super fake, terribly acted. That guy was such a bad actor. It's just unbelievable. It's exposure of like little drip of information. What's going to happen next? Is it going to be some psyop of the city's being attacked by aliens? You need to stay in your houses and trust us because we're the only ones who can protect you. And maybe the aliens bring a pandemic too, so you have to be careful and trust the government now.
It's another alien virus. We need more shots.
Oh no!
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's definitely something like it's definitely really fascinating times that we're living in, and I agree with you. Like, I mean, I constantly see people in the chat say it's a distraction, but a distraction of what? That's the important thing, right? Like we don't know the whys and the whats. Like what are we getting distracted from? Are we getting distracted from the fact of what Renie said of about government officials being caught being super corrupt? Or are we getting distracted for, I don't know, maybe earth changes? Maybe they see something coming towards us that's because the governments do see a lot of things that we don't. Like instead of UFOs, maybe a massive asteroid that's heading this way and about to, I don't know, take us all out. So they want to blame aliens for it instead. I don't know. What is the answer? Like, what is actually going on? My mind goes to so many different places. But you know what? There was another story that I saw after I watched this. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Like, this is actually really funny because people are literally calling the police now to report that there's aliens in their yard. And I'm like, this is fucking nuts. I can't believe we live in this time.
I saw that. I don't understand. I don't know what to think about that. I'm like, was this person just really high or was this a real thing?
Right. Like you don't really know anymore. Grizzly Blue, thank you for the $5. Says look up Luis Elizondo. What? Elizondo? He says the government thinks aliens are interdimensional and not extraterrestrial. A lot of people say that.
Could be true.
Including myself. I believe in the extraterrestrial thing. I actually believe in both. I think there's both kinds. I think there's interdimensional kind, and I think there's the extraterrestrial kind.
This might be weird to say, but I would more readily believe it interdimensional because with the extraterrestrial problem, not that I don't think other life exists in the universe. I think it does. It's more of a question, well, how do they reach us because of travel times and how vast space is? But yeah, I think both exist. Why not?
Yeah, I think the universe is big enough to have both. Why not? Thank you for Doc Brewski. Thank you for the $1.99. Says the UFO shit is nothing but distraction. On what? On what, Doc? Elaborate on that. Elaborate. Swain Wade, thank you. Swain Wade, thank you for the $1.99. That guy's blown a lot more than whistles. Wow. Okay. Also for another $1.99, we've been lying for decades, but trust me now, bro. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
Mr. Self-Destruct for 2 says Iron Sky 2012, Utopia 2013, not the Netflix V. What? Is that like are those movie names? I don't know what this means, Mr. Self-Destruct. You're gonna have to clarify on it. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat though. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. No, okay, here we go. All right, here's the next bit of news. I thought this was really funny. This happened in Las Vegas. And I mean, my question was also like, how high is this guy? But it's crazy though, because when you hear something like this whistleblower guy going off about, you know, UFOs and aliens, and then you see stuff and you're like, well, I mean, is it really crazy to think that maybe there is aliens? I don't know. Like, you know, we have to question ourselves now. And I think that's interesting. So here we go.
It is the police call everybody will be talking about. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Denise Valdez.
I'm Brian Loftus. A family says something crashed into their backyard, prompting them to call 911, saying they saw creatures walking around.
Our 8 News Now investigators digging into this for weeks now. And tonight, our David Sharns with the video you will only see on 8 News Now. David?
Again with the, you will only see this on 8 News. Like, it's like, bro, you're talking about alien life. Like, why is breaking news? Aliens are here, and this dude called the cops to say he saw aliens. You'll only see this on 8 News.
I'm pretty sure this is not the first time someone has called the cops and said they saw aliens either. Like, what is this part? This is weird that they're spotlighting this.
100%.
These sources telling the News Now investigators that several agencies believe something landed or crashed. Whether it was non-humans or not, it certainly scared the people.
Wait, whether it was non-humans or not? I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Like, that's a pretty big deal thing to say. Like, whether it was non-human or not. Like, if it was non-human, that's fucked up, bro. Like, what does that even mean if it was non-human? Like, that means you're talking about aliens, and that is pretty fucking important. Like,
right?
Whether it was non-aliens or not, we don't really know, because
living on this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually weird.
Like the person on the other line. Okay, where is this on your property? Like the guy's talking about aliens. Like, what?
I mean, to be fair, they probably get calls like this all the time. Like, I listen to a lot of true crime, and like 911 operators are perpetually bored because
I know, it's like
shit they hear.
Okay, sir, how many hits of acid did you have tonight? It's like, what the fuck?
There's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes. Like I can't explain it. And big mouth.
Okay.
They're shiny eyes and they're not human. They're 100%. They're not human.
You're very high right now.
Okay.
Like,
well, the News Now investigators obtaining video as officers then
Okay.
responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night.
Okay,
but
so now
the big
this
question
part-
is, what?
This part is trippy because the officers did see something in the sky that night. Now, I think this is a meteorite, but
Was it?
it could be.
And is it all connected?
Leave her alone.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro police officer's
This,
body
yeah.
cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has.
So that's why I think it's a little bit fascinating because it's the correlation of the timing. So they see this thing and it's recorded as something did drop out of the sky, and then all of a sudden these guys call the cops, like literally like within 2 minutes, and they're like, hey, we see like some sort of alien. So the timing is really interesting.
That
But
is interesting. It could also be like, well, a meteorite fell and it just happened to fall next to a super drugged out person's house.
Yeah. And then maybe they had a fucking trip and they were like, whoa.
Has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm still nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone thought a shooting star. Then these people.
The police officer is like, I have butterflies, bro.
Real tough there.
Oh my god, he's scared. He doesn't want to go over. That's funny. He's like, I've got butterflies, bro.
Butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or
they see like a big? That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question.
Okay, to be fair, those guys didn't look high, like, or drunk, like, because they looked like they were normal.
That's true.
Maybe
But
maybe they made it up, but I don't. Maybe they didn't maybe they did see something. Who knows?
Maybe. Though I also question, in this day and age, if an alien landed in my backyard, first thing I'm doing is recording it and putting it online. So why didn't you record the 8 and 10 foot tall people? Did it get confiscated? But if it got confiscated by the government, then it wouldn't be on the news. So what's going on?
Why didn't they record it immediately? That's a good question. Okay, here we go.
This might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9 foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So yeah, this is quite weird, Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now, we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way. And whatever crashed by the time that police got there was gone, but sources say that there's really no dispute. Something was in their yard. Exactly what? We do not know.
I mean, it's so interesting. So like the Metro officer sees something, the neighbor sees something. I mean, so what could it be?
Well, we know that there are obviously a lot of military bases around this area. George Knapp covers a lot of that stuff for us on the 80s Now Investigators. We're showing you drone video from above that area. And we know, of course, Creech not far away, Nellis Air Force Base not far. I checked in with them. They say they are not involved at all. And we are waiting to hear from the Pentagon as well.
And you talked to these people. It seemed completely legitimate to you. And do you have any personal thoughts on maybe what it was?
Right. So it seems from talking to our sources that something happened. There was obviously some flash in the sky. A lot of people saw it that night on the night of April 30th, early in the morning on May 1st.
I mean, everybody saw the flash. Like everybody saw the flash and it was recorded, like even on the police camera. So we know that the flash was there. Something landed, whether that was a meteorite or maybe a crashed drone or a UFO, God knows. But there was something that crashed into the sky.
Did that exact thing land in their yard? I don't know. But these people said they saw some SUV circling the area. Could this have been some piece of equipment that malfunctioned? Maybe they saw something and then someone came. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Right.
Someone came and retrieved it from the backyard in the SUV. We don't know. This all comes as a former high-level intelligence officer, an air veteran, was on News Nation talking about how there is a program where the government collects some unidentified objects. So this might be that. We just don't know. We're going to work to find out, though.
And
Brian.
no substances. They were looking with clear eyes.
There are no substances.
Not big buggy eyes, though.
This is really unique. Thank you, David.
That's funny. That is so funny.
It's just strange and also weirdly coincidental. Like they even admit, like, well, the government just came out and said that UFOs are real and we've been paying attention to this for years, and finally now we're spotlighting this UFO phone call that was, this whole thing that happened. Is it that because it just happens that they get these kinds of calls all the time, because we know a lot of people report UFO sightings or sightings of, like, alien abductions. Whatever you think about that, this is common. Like,
You
and
don't
usually it's not
hear
in the
about
news.
it ever, but it's way more common than you think. Like alien or basically saying like reports of hearing boom sounds, reports are hearing flashing lights in the sky, reports of hearing like or seeing like unidentifying objects of like lights moving really fast in the sky. There's so many reports and calls about that kind of stuff. Like you just don't usually ever hear about it. That's why this is so fascinating, because now it's starting to become mainstream. So they're like, oh, this is kind of weird. Let's talk about this one. Or like let's show this on the news, because this has never been done before. You don't usually see on mainstream news, so and so called the cops about some freaking alien landing, or like, them witnessing some sort of aliens or something like that. And then the news just being like, whether it was aliens or not, like, we don't know, but we're going to cover the story. But it's kind of unbelievable that we're at it in a time where we can actually watch this go down and be like, the mainstream news is talking about aliens possibly going into some guy's backyard. Like that's a trip for me, man. That's a trip. Thank you, Joel, for becoming a member. Joel Carver, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. And Patrick G for $4.99 says, it seems like no one ever finds the gold pot at the end of the rainbows. Curious. I thought you found it, Patrick T. No, I'm just joking. Wow, what a crazy world we live in,
right? And it's even crazier that, well, the government is coming out and saying this, but I'm just very bemused by how few fucks people give in general.
I know.
We just don't care anymore. And I'm like, yes, good. Not that I'm not interested in like aliens or anything, but it's just like, good. We need to focus on what's important, because I think what's important is, let's look at the people that are corrupt in the government and all this stuff that's actually affecting us. Because if the aliens have been here all along, they've left us alone. Like they haven't tried to take over. They haven't like tried to, it hasn't been any District 9 kind of stuff. So
I disagree on that one. I disagree on that one, because I think that part of the reasons that because I think aliens have been here for years. I really do. I'm an old school conspiracy nut. I'm an old school conspiracy theorist, Art Bell all the way. And I think they've been here for a long time. And I think that part of the reason that we're getting so many crazy things now, and we imagine them to be like we imagine them to be some sort of government psyop, but I think that the government may have had help, because now you see, here's the thing. Like recently I see like weird shit about, like people wanting to become like dragon people, and they're like getting their faces like made into dragon people or demons or like whatever. Like they're literally doing things where you're like, when you see these people, you're like, is this person like real, or is this some sort of weird alien psyop? And I feel like that the alien psyop is actually quite real, to a point where I'm starting to question whether or not this whole, what's going on with the kids situation, Irene, and I'm sure you're kind of reading what I'm saying here, because I don't want to talk about it because we're on YouTube. But what's going on with the kids, and what Ron DeSantis talks about doing constantly to protect kids and stuff like that. What Call of Duty doesn't like, right? What I'm referring to, how is that not some sort of psyop? Like, what if that's aliens? What if they're trying to take over in that way? Maybe it's not a conventional way of taking over, but maybe they just want they want the men to become women. They want the women to become men, or some sort of weird thing. Because when men aren't at their peak game, right? When men aren't there to have masculinity take care of us, to be like, you know what, I'm not gonna let this shit happen. It feels like there's something happening that's kind of beyond just the government wanting to control us. It feels almost like interdimensional or something. Like, I don't know what, but there's something fucking with the psyche of so many people that it feels too grand to me. So that's why I say I think the aliens are here. I mean, have you seen that one guy's face? I mean, Mandy showed me this guy's face the other day. And I was like, and people say like there's no aliens around us. Like, this is aliens. Like, this is what the fucking psyop has been about. Hold on, let me see.
It could be that. I do agree that it feels like it's more than just our government wanting control, but in my mind, I think it's foreign interference. It's definitely not just our government wanting power, but it could be aliens. I don't know. Either way, it's messed up. But
Like,
in
this
my
is-
mind, I'm like, oh, it's totally foreign influence or some kind of influence. Like there's something deeper or a larger power that's controlling our government.
This is
Oh
what I'm
my,
talking about.
oh
Like,
my
people
word.
like this, like
what
people
the-
like literally turning themselves into fucking orcs and shit.
Okay.
And you know, like
Oh,
I'm telling you, this is real stuff. Like, and I feel like this is what aliens are actually doing. Like, they've actually infiltrated, but in a way that you never really would think it would come. Like, you're like, oh, they are here, but just very differently than what I expected. The other, like today, I saw another bit of news going on, and I was like, wait, what? And that was this year, which was very disturbing. And it's said morgue manager at Harvard Medical School among 7 charged with stealing human remains. Now, this guy looked like this.
Oh, what the hell?
This guy's a literal, like, dude works at a morgue, stealing body parts and brains and shit.
Yeah.
And then we're told that, like, you know, there's no aliens. Like, there's no aliens. It's like, you know, how? Like, I mean, how can you not see this as some sort of weird alien invasion? I mean, I feel like it might be. It might be. Now, the details are 7 people, including the morgue manager at Harvard Medical School, were arrested and charged with stealing and selling human remains from mortuaries at the Ivy League school at the University of Arkansas. Arkansas? Did I say that right? I don't know.
Arkansas?
I always say Arkansas, but it's not
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I think.
Oh, yeah, it's Arkansas. I always say Arkansas. Prosecutors said the arrests involve an underground network that robbed corpses, including bodies of 2 stillborn infants at Harvard Medical School's anatomical gifts program, and an Arkansas mortuary and a crematorium. U.S. Attorney General M. Karam said in a statement Wednesday. Cedric Lodge, 55, allegedly stole the remains from the university morgue where he worked and sold the body parts online with the help of his wife, Denise, 63, to associates Katrina McLean, and 44, and Joshua Taylor, 46, and Matthew Lampy, 52. Officials said that one of the Lampy's clients, Jeremy Pauly, bought and sold body parts with him, with the 2 exchanging more than $100,000 with each other. Pauly eventually led detectives to Candace Chapman Scott, who was accused of stealing Cadver's salted for cremation in Little Rock and selling them to Pauly in Pennsylvania. Like with the Lodge's operation, many of the bodies Scott is accused of selling belong to those who donated them for scientific research purposes at the University of Arkansas Medical Sciences. Never do that, people. I mean, maybe some of you are into that, but like, do not check the organ like offering thing on your license. Do not offer your body to be given to the government for any purposes if you care about this kind of stuff, because it happens all the time. And usually even more than that, especially like if you're an organ donor. So if you become an organ donor and you have it like checked off in your license plate, most of the time, if you go in with something that you can be saved for, like you have a car accident or something like that, they will basically pretend that you're not savable so that they can harvest your organs.
Oh,
It's
shit.
very well known. It's a dark secret. Don't do it. I know I'm in the conspiracy theory stuff, but I'm telling you guys, this shit happens a lot more than you think about. Some crimes defy understanding. Karam said of the underground market that defendants were accused of setting up and participating in the theft and traffic of human remains strikes as the very essence of what makes us human. So I think, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, that does, like, it really strikes at the very essence of what makes us humans. Because if it's not, if this is the kind of stuff that's going on, right? Why is it hard to believe that the aliens are here? They did infiltrate our psyche to some extent. I mean, look at this guy. He doesn't even look human anymore.
So do you think it's the aliens have been influencing our psyche, or like these people are aliens themselves?
I think that they've been influencing the psyche for so long that some people have lost their way and basically have attuned themselves, because it's all frequencies, right? Like, it's vibrations. We work on vibration. We work on frequency, like humans do in general. You vibrate at a certain frequency. That's how, your consciousness like operates, I think. So it's just interesting to me that they're vibrating at such an interesting frequency in a sense of like, well, let's go and harvest some fucking human remains. Like, it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird. And I can't put my finger on it, but it's definitely not human. It is particularly egregious that so many of the victims here volunteered to allow their remains to be used to educate medical professionals and advance the interests of science and healing. He added, for them and their families to be taken advantage of in the name of profit is appalling. Among the body parts sold included two desiccated faces. McLean paid Lodge $600 for. In 2020, Taylor allegedly sent Denise $200 the memo that read brains.
Really?
Wow.
Serious.
This dude's stealing body parts.
That's so messed up. Like, why? Like, in like the 18th or 17th century, there used to be like graveyard theft because that was the only way they could get cadavers to study and stuff. But now, like, why? What is the purpose of this? It's absolutely.
Well, the purpose is to take over. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, the alien invasion. If you think about it the way, like, let's say the aliens are interdimensional. Let's say, Irene, right? Like, just go with me here. Let's say they are interdimensional and they can't really come into a our dimension physically. Let's say maybe in the way that they can come into our bodies, though, is through changing our frequency so that we think more like them, and therefore they'll be able to enter our bodies and work through that. Like, maybe this is the kind of thing we're talking about here. It's kind of like an invasion of the body snatchers kind of situation where they're taking over people's bodies, or like they're just taking over people's minds and thoughts in a way that everyone is saying phrasing. What did I say?
Enter our bodies. That's what I should have said. We're gonna clip that now.
Wow. Okay. You got me, guys.
Hey, phrasing.
At least we put this matter to bed. That's what she said. Or he said.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird scenario, and I can't put my finger on it, but it's definitely not human, and it's definitely something otherworldly. I just feel like this whole gender affirming thing and transhumanism and like all of it just seems almost not human. And that's why I'm going with this theory, guys. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it.
So this might be also a little out there. I do agree that there's so much weird stuff going on now where it can't be just, well, people are rebelling so hard against traditionalism that society has just gone nuts. But I mostly generally, and growing up in Asia, I think I believe in reincarnation, and I think it's because there's so many humans that are on the planet now, more than have ever been on the earth. Something like 7% of all humans have ever existed in evolutionary history are alive right now. And it's a lot of people that have never been humans before. And that's why they don't know how to function in this mode of living. Probably a weird way of thinking of it.
No, I like it. That's interesting to me.
Right. But it all could also be aliens.
I think it might be both. Maybe it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Now some people are saying demonic possession. Look, another way of seeing demons could also be aliens, because I mean, technically, aliens are demons and demons are aliens, because that's what it means. Aliens just means not human. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it could be the same thing. We could be talking about the same very thing.
Yeah, demons could just be these interdimension or extra dimensional creatures that have been trying to reach out to us forever.
That's how I see it. Patrick G just said, for $1.99, have you considered demons and demonic activity? What I just addressed. I feel like that is it could be either or. It could be that we it's just our definitions of what it means to be a demon or what it means to have demonic activity. Maybe that is what extraterrestrials are. Maybe they're demons or angels or whatever you want to call them. Like, we have different words for these things, but they could all be describing the same thing. But we don't really know, do we? We've never really seen an angel or a demon. Well, I mean, look at this thing. It's pretty fucking
Right?
close.
Yeah, what if that is the truth, like angels and demons? You know how with people who do, what is it? Is it DMT or ayahuasca? Everyone who goes on this journey with this drug, they tend to see these same creatures. They're called clockwork elves, and it's like, and they come into contact with this nature, almost this nature god spirit, and it's this life-changing experience for most people if they're in like the right mindset, and everyone sees the same thing, which I find very strange. I don't know if
That's
it's just
interesting.
I don't know if it's like they're just expecting to see the same thing, but I feel like it's a little too coincidental because it's kind of widespread. So could it be throwing it out there, maybe you're right, that these angels and elves and demons, they're not sort of aliens or creatures that we would normally be able to see, but they exist in another plane of reality, and they influence us in ways in our subconscious. And someone like this is obviously being influenced by a malevolent spirit or
Irene,
entity.
You're picking up on what I'm talking about here, and I don't feel like
I'm
a
hearing
crazy
you.
person. You're like vibing with me right now. You've gone to that place with me, and I appreciate it. It's like, oh my god,
I love this
I love
stuff,
it.
bro.
This is
Because
good.
you never know. Like you have to speculate. I think it's so stupid to say that, well, it's conspiracy theory, therefore you can't speculate. Like, what's the harm in just speculating? Am I going out there and hurting anyone? Is it harmful to just say that maybe this is real? Because we don't know everything in science. Like, look at quantum physics. There's the rules of physics. We thought that we understood the universe through the laws of physics, but then when we really get into the minute levels of it, it turns out that the laws don't apply all the time. So we don't know the reality of our universe, and we don't know what the reality. We don't know the nature of even consciousness. We have no idea. So
Exactly. Like, what is consciousness even? Like, what even is it? We still don't really have a definition. But this kind of conversation, right? This kind of talk about wanting to open our thoughts to whatever is out there is the key, right? Like, just wanting to just open our minds just a little bit, I think, is kind of what it's all about. I'm so glad that you're going there with me tonight, Irene. I feel like we're connecting on like another level. Like, whoa, man. Like, I feel like I need a lot more weed, though. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, man, if I was Joe Rogan, I'd be lighting one up right now. But this motherfucker, this guy, so prosecutors also claim that Lodge allowed his buyers to enter Boston morgue to pick out what body parts they wanted, with the rogue manager then stealing the remains and shipping them through the mail. Lodge was fired May 6th with Harvard describing his alleged actions as abhorrent betrayal. No shit. This guy is crazy. We're appalled to learn that something so disturbing could happen on our campus, a community dedicated to healing and serving others, the school medical dean said in a statement. I can't even imagine. Can you imagine like being like finding this out? Mind you, how do you hire someone that looks like this? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I would judge a book by its cover a little bit here. Like if this dude came to, you know, I don't know, want a job for being a mortuary person, I'd be like, look, bro, not gonna lie, you kind of look sus. Like you kind of look like you might be into organ harvesting. Like there's signs here. Like I don't know. He looks like a demon. Like what guy thought that this was a good idea to hire this dude? Like I'm confused here. Like is there not, are the signs not clear enough? It's just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to me. The reported incidents are betrayal of HMS, and most importantly, each of the individuals who altruistically chose to will their bodies HMS. Blah 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 blah. So let's see. We couldn't even imagine that something like this could happen. Blah blah blah. The defendants face conspiracy and unlawful transportation of stolen goods charge, which may carry a maximum of 15 years behind. But only 15? I feel like this needs more. I don't know.
Right.
What do you think? Do you think this requires more than 15 years? I would say at least 30. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Absolutely. There are people doing more time for non-harmful drug offenses, basically.
Right.
This is nuts. Look, there were infants involved. What's wrong with you?
It's
please investigate this guy. If he was doing this, what else is in this history?
Right?
What other bones are in his closet?
I mean, he probably did a lot more fucked up shit that they don't even know about. You're right. That he should be further investigated immediately. What an absolute gong show. And this is what I'm talking about. I feel like every day I feel like I see the alien influence. Every day when I turn on YouTube and I see some sort of libs of TikTok thing where somebody's like, hi, everybody. My pronouns today are as be today. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I feel like we're living in a time where the aliens fucking won. And I'm like, I guess we're living in that world now. And they've just taken over. DL, thank you for the $1.99. Says Art Bell was the king of late night talk radio. I know. That's why, I guess maybe that's why I do this at late at night. I just love Art Bell. Rest in peace, sir. Patrick T, have you considered? Got that one. Thank you very much for that, Patrick T. As T gay, is that what I said? I don't know. I was just making up some shit because that's what they do. They just make up some shit. My pronoun today is turtle self, and I identify as a turtle today.
Right. And then the next day they identify as a shrimp or something. It's weird. They don't know how to be human. I 100% believe that's what's going on. They're new human souls, basically, but also people who just weren't, I don't know what it is. Were they not like disciplined enough as kids? That's also part of the problem, I think, especially in America. So I didn't grow up in America, and I was so shocked by how many how many people grow up without a stable family, like having both parents. This is a whole different subject, but I think that's part of it.
No, it's part of it. It's all part of it. It's all part of it.
Yeah, not having that discipline and stability. I think that's broken a whole generation. And it's my generation. Like the millennials, so many people in my generation are just broken. And it's like there's so many people I meet my age who they really seem barely functional, and they have so many issues. And I'm like, it's not that I'm not sympathetic, but I'm like, how did we get here?
Yeah. I mean, I think about that constantly. And I think that like maybe aliens is like a maybe a simplified explanation, but not really, because I think it's like a pronged effect, right? Like they're not going to go right for a certain thing. They've been playing the long con, you know what I mean? The long game. It's like, how do we infiltrate every aspect of humanity? And one of the biggest aspects of humanity is family life, like, you know, like how we conduct ourselves, how humans, you know, and the nuclear family, that's when we're the strongest, right? So like if you break that, like what's gonna remain? And right now we're shattered, like in a lot of ways. Our societies are shattering, and that's a scary thought, to see what's gonna happen in the future. When I see, you know, my nephew and the things that's going on in schools today, like that terrifies me. I'm like, man, kids today don't have a freaking chance, like today, about any of this stuff, you know. It's freaking hard.
There's so many levels to it too, because what happens when you break down the nuclear family, it breaks this sense of community. And when you have, they want to break the nuclear family, but also kind of, you know how, like, if you've grown up in a small town, and even outside of America in a lot of places, it's like you know your neighbors, like there's high trust in society, but we've kind of torn that down as well. But with the nuclear family, first of all, you have a generation that didn't get enough attention, because if it's a single parent household, or if one of the parents aren't your biological parents, they don't care about you as much. You weren't getting the attention because they were working all the time, and they treat school like daycare, and they didn't have that guidance. And all humans need so much help growing up. You need to pay attention to your kids, and these parents haven't been parents. So that's why you have all these people in my generation and going forward, I think, that have issues. But also on another level, when you break down this grounding force that is the nuclear family, and they're also telling people, instead of relying on your community and your family, rely on the government instead. Give your kids to daycare, give your kids to public school, instead of raising your own kids and educating them, and trust the government. And that makes people easier to control, because you don't have this idea of, this is who I'm looking out for. I don't care what the government says, and I don't trust you. I fall back on my people, not the government.
That's very interesting too. Yeah, I hear you, and I totally agree with that, because I think that is what's happening, and that's just one of the things that like the government wants to do constantly as well, is like have you be dependent on them, right? Like that's the literally really the crux of the matter, like keep you dependent on them so that they can just, well, keep on being them and can keep controlling you in whatever different way that they can. This has been such a fascinating discussion tonight, Irene. What a really crazy ride. Thank you for going down this path with me. I'm going to share this bit of news with you just to brighten things up a little bit, because I know that we talked about really a lot of fucked up things. So for our last topic, we're going to talk about something kind of funny. And that is this bit of news. Archaeologists discovered a 6-inch stone penis used in medieval times. I bet you'll never guess what this was used for, Irene. What do you think? What do you think this was used for? You don't want to wager a guess? No. Wait, are you frozen? Wait, is she frozen? Oh my God, she's frozen in like the cutest face ever. I thought she was just there. Wait, am I frozen? Who's frozen? Is it me? Okay, she's frozen. She dropped out. She was like, I'm not going to talk about this. Aliens got her. That was such a cute frozen face. She was like, okay, look, I talked about aliens for like 2 hours. I ain't talking about penises. 6-inch penises or something. There she is.
I'm back. They are listening. They got me.
They got you. The aliens got her.
My connection just dropped. I'm like, where are they? They're coming for me. Okay, I'm back. Just in time for the
Just
ancient
in
penis.
time. For the best piece of news tonight, archaeologists discover 6-inch stone penis used in medieval times. I was asking before the aliens got you. I was asking, what do you think this was used for? I bet you can't guess.
I have no idea.
Well, you're gonna find out now.
Okay.
You're gonna find out now.
I'm afraid, but
The
let's go.
sword in the penis stone. Phallic-shaped objects apparently weren't always just for sexual pleasure. Spanish archaeologists have found a stone penis that may have been used to sharpen weapons in medieval Spain. Okay, so they don't know, actually. Like, they don't actually know. It says they may have been. They may have been. So they may have also been used as dildos. We don't know. But they think that it's not that.
Okay. Why else would you have? Well, it is made of stone. I can't imagine that's very comfortable if you want to use it intimately.
It's an interesting object because it's unusual. Dario Pena Pascula, an archaeologist with the Arobi, whatever the hell this word is, the organization that found the willy-shaped whetstone, told Live Science. The team discovered the 6-inch doppelwanger. I love whoever wrote this article. In the ruins of the Tower of Maria in the Ria de Gio, the Vigo, the vagina. Are we really talking about the vago?
Wait, do you remember that a few months ago in there was a penis-shaped iceberg, and you can't make this up. I might be getting the details wrong, but I think there was, look this up. It was a penis-shaped iceberg that was photographed by a man from a town called Dildo or something in Canada, and the name of the bay that the penis-shaped iceberg was floating in was called Conception Bay.
What? That's hilarious. Oh my God, you're right. Okay, we'll go back to that in a second.
Okay.
We'll go back to that in a second because that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Let me finish this article. The team discovered okay, we got that. This fortification was one of the 130 castles and towers destroyed during the Armandio revolts of the 15th century, in which peasants rose up against a ruling class. Art News reported. Pena Pascula said the object's purpose was easy to identify because it retained traces of wear on one side, compatible with its use as a sharpening stone. So they really think that this was a sharpening stone. While archaeologists frequently find whetstones at medieval excavation sites all over the world, this one's penile shape made it stick out. Yeah, no shit. I mean, that's funny.
I made it stick out.
Hey-o. Why the sword sharpener was shaped like a schlong is difficult to understand, per Pena Pascula, who believes that the structure in which it was found could provide insight. The context in which we found the stone penis is that a fortress destroyed during an seigneurial revolt. She said a seigneurial is the territory held by a feudal lord. The scientists explained that during that time period, the phallic symbol was considered an object of veneration rather than lewd symbol used to elicit sophomoric snickers.
Like us. No.
Like us.
Yeah, in medieval times, no joke, people were kind of, I don't know about phallic symbols and straight up just dongs everywhere, but because I always thought medieval Europe was kind of prudish, except there were totally periods where in men's armor and even men's pants, they would have fake cod pieces that looked like erect penises because that was seen as manly. Yeah, look up they had armor that everything was how you would expect medieval armor to be, but then you'd have a boing right there on the crotch. There was a period of this. You're
That's so
welcome.
funny because is that like during the same period as like the chastity belt? Like imagine having like the chastity belt, but you also have like schlong armor that
Right.
you're like, I need to have my armor look schlongy. That's so great. In fact, the ancient civilizations such as Romans, which boasted a treasure trove of artifacts featuring manhood motifs, saw the penis as a symbol of power rather than sex. That's kind of like what you were talking about. It's like, you know, well, I mean, it's kind of like that even in like Washington, right? Like that phallic shaped, like what's it called? What is that thing?
What
The building?
The Washington Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. Not Lincoln, Washington
No.
Memorial.
That phallic shaped fucking thing. That's like a sign of power. It's like I'm here and I'm a penis shaped building. That
There are a lot of those. But yeah, it is kind of like a giant penis shaped building.
it's like
The Washington Monument.
yeah, the Washington Monument. That like it's like literally like I am here and I'm a giant dick. You know,
I know my American stuff.
the obelisk.
It
Is that what it's
yeah.
called?
Well,
The obelisk?
That's. I mean, it goes way back. Even in ancient Egypt, they would erect. So many jokes.
Yeah, the obelisk. That's what it is. And you're right. It did go back to ancient Egypt because it was a sign of power. And the sign of power is, you know, giant schlong into the air. Because it was
Yes.
like, look at this. I mean, like, who's going to get it bigger? Like, look at this.
Oh my God.
Like, why are these like schlong looking buildings everywhere? I mean, come on. This is definitely a sign of power. I think humans were trying to tell their alien overlords, look, we can get some big schlongs going over here. And then so the aliens were like, well, we're just going to teach you guys how to cut it off. No more schlong for you.
Right, we're gonna take over because you have no more schlong. Oh man, it's so funny. It's also how it's funny how little humans have changed.
I know, right? Like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Now, let me go to this thing that you shared with me because that was hilarious as well. Like what the actual fuck? Hold on. Wait, where did I? Okay, there it is. Okay. Wait, is this? Hold on. I hope this one has a video.
Ooh, a video. I don't know if
Wait,
there was video.
maybe it
or-
doesn't, but this is funny. Hold on. Okay, here we go. The tip of the iceberg. Oh, God, I hate the daily.
So many
Photo of penis-shaped ice off Canadian coast goes viral, and it was taken by a man from Dildo. No fucking way,
You have a town called Dildo?
bruh. I didn't even know that there was a town called Dildo. I'm not gonna lie. Berg measuring 30 feet bears a resemblance of part of a male anatomy. Okay, let's see this picture. Oh my God. Is this real? Like that's not Photoshop?
I
That's
don't know.
hilarious.
I've
I do
seen-
have ad blocker. I don't know why it's not working on this side. I don't know.
It might be like an angle thing. It might not look so phallic from another angle, but I don't know. I saw.
Oh my God. Look, there's the penis thing in here too.
Oh, dicks everywhere.
Oh my God, what is this?
What is? Whoa!
In a photo, the starfish is seen resting on the ocean floor and turned upwards, with social media users nicknaming it the coctopus and porn star. Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Okay, this is like I'm pressing that clickbait. Oh my God, that's too freaking funny.
I love it.
Why is there so many penis-shaped news articles? Okay, hold on. Let's see what this one is.
I'm so
This one's
immature,
called the
I'm sorry.
coctopus. I like it. Whoever came up with that. That's
Let's just-
funny.
Oh, what if this is like a whole rabbit hole and there are just more and more like penis-shaped things? in
Penis-shaped
nature?
thing. We're gonna keep clicking on.
I'm all
This
for
just
it.
became that kind of stream. Australia's penis starship goes viral for resembling male genitalia, and it has already been nicknamed the Coctopus. Here it is.
Oh my god!
I cannot believe this is a real thing.
Is that real? Is it? Oh, because starfish have like little suckers, right? But it's on the other side. Oh my god!
Yeah, because it's like, well, what the fuck? This thing actually looks like a penis.
What is the purpose of that little slit at the?
I don't know. A species of starfish found in Australia top is turn heads with a risque appearance. Photo of the bizarre and what echoderms, which closely resembles male genitalia, was uploaded to Reddit, where it has been viewed and considered by more than 44,300 people. The starfish is seen resting on the ocean floor and turned upwards, with social media nicknaming it a Coctopus. So like a what? Bulbous tips?
Bulbous.
What? Okay. Does it say why this is happening?
Is it a new species that we
It
didn't
said
know
new
before?
species, yeah.
Oh.
So the starfish is known as the chorister whatever and can grow about 27 centimeters. Hey-o!
Hey.
Its rounded tips and chubby appearance has inspired its second name as the doughboy starfish. No, this is definitely the Coctopus.
It is
For-
absolutely, or the cock star.
Yeah.
It's not an octopus. Who I mean,
the
not
cock
an
star.
octopus.
I like it too. The cock star. That's pretty good.
Cock star.
Oh my god. The species is found in blah 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 in East Africa. Okay, so the species typically feeds on algae. Okay, so it's not that new, but I guess it's a version of it.
Okay.
That's funny.
Oh, nature is so amazing.
God is funny. God is
Yes.
funny that way. Like, come on. God has a sense of humor, guys, because this thing exists. Okay, that's
It's
funny.
It's kind of cute.
I love it. It's a little penis starship.
I know.
It's great.
Someone in chat said there's a penis-shaped rocket chat. Okay, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. This is just gonna go on way too long.
Oh my god, this is gonna go on forever. Not that I mind, because I love penises, but it's getting kind of late. And Irene, you and I have been having such a blast. So thank you so very much for being here tonight. You've been so much fun to talk to. In fact, I want to invite you to another show. I want you to come and hang out with me on Toxic Femininity on Mondays. We have a show on Midnight's Edge where we talk more about more about entertainment stuff and what you usually talk about. So I would love it if you came and joined me on there. And of course, you're always welcome to come back on this show. You're just welcome on this channel now in general.
Awesome.
And I do another show. I do another show on Fridays. It's called Infinite Hope. And I do that one to try and balance out this crazy ass show, because usually with this show, I just end up depressing everybody. So I'm like, well, I gotta balance things out. So I try to white pill everybody on Fridays. And of course, you're welcome to that as well. But Irene, you've been an incredible guest tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me and going to like the weirdest places with me.
Of course.
Let's plug your book one more time before we call it. And I want you to basically plug all the other stuff too. Guys, you definitely want to go back, Fiendish. You want to go back, Irene's book.
Back it now. If you like fantasy and mystery and a lot of insane world building and just, pretty fun art, fun battles, entertainment for entertainment's sake, and all this going back to what comics and entertainment should be about, which is about the story, about the characters, and about you as customers and your enjoyment, then this is the book for you. I'm really proud of the work that we've done on this. I have a whole series planned. This is 9 books. We're on book 2, and I'm so thankful for the support that this has had so far. If you want to find out more, I actually have a website. It's just fiendishcomic.com, really straightforward. But if you want to see how insane I've gone with this project, I have a world map on there. I have character profiles, and I built a language for this comic project as well. because I have apparently too much time on my hands when I was in Taiwan working on this. So check it out. I hope you like it. And it's coming down on Friday, so there's a limited time to get this version, at least with these covers, for chapter 2. So thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and dude, all the best to you for, like, you know, going forward. And of course, I mean, you've already had the success with chapter 2, but I hope to see it all complete. I almost want to hold off until it's all out, like the 9 issues, and I want to get like a you know, like when you like, I'm sure you're gonna put it out, but are you gonna have like one of those like 9 box set, like, you know, like a really cool box set with like a really cool like design on like the old school books, you know how they used to do that when it all came out? Like I almost want to wait all out and then get like the 9 book box set. Are you
Oh,
gonna do that?
absolutely. I'm going to do that, and I want to do. My dream is, like, I would love to do hardcover editions because the story is broken down into arcs. So like every 3 books, it's an arc. So I'll do hardcovers, and then when it's all collected, I'll do like the leather-bound Berserk volumes. I love Berserk, so I would love to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take forever because these aren't just issues; they're chapters on each book. So I'm putting out about 1 book every year or year and a half because this book is 66 story pages, and they're all like 60 to 70 page huge chapters. Because that's also another reason I wanted to do my own thing, because I want to tell a story in bigger chapters than traditional publishers would accept. But you know, I'm super committed to this. This is gonna be done. It's gonna be finished. It's 9 stories. I already have everything planned out, and I will do a box set when it's all finished. Even though it'll be 10 years from now, so you'll have to wait.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna wait that long. I'm gonna start having to back it now. Do I get the first one with one of these as well? Because I don't have the first one.
Oh yeah, I have a
That's the
Catch Me
give
Up
me
here.
everything.
Oh, that's the give. That's with all the variants and all like the goodies on there, like a canvas world map, and I have standees. But if you want to get book 1 and 2, right there.
Oh, there we go. Book 1 and 2. All
Yep,
right.
and it's at a discount as well, so you can get both chapters together.
Cool. I'm gonna have to order this within the next couple days.
Awesome.
Okay, great. I will. I'm gonna do that. Thank you,
Thanks so much.
Irene. I'm gonna
you.
get that. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make it happen. I mean, hell, I had I was like trying to get like Eric July's book today. It took me like 3 freaking days to get that freaking book. I was like, that freaking website was down like so many times. I'm like, okay, no, but I'm gonna back your book. I got so many people's I got it back. So, you know, you just keep forgetting all the different things you got to do. But I will back yours. Yes, I think it was to thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Now, Irene, do you have anything else you want to plug other than your book, your channel, obviously? Do you have any other shows you got coming up or anything like that?
I host a show called The Creative Block, and it's actually tomorrow, and it's on my channel, which is also Renie Draws, and it's a show with Phil Diaz, Jake, who's in the chat, hello Jake, hi, and Narwhal, and we're all comic creators, and we talk about the craft of comics, and we keep it interesting because every time, I mean, it's really spontaneous. We'll talk about how does dating advice pertain to writing for scripts, and we'll go off on tangents trying to tie in Jungian psychology with like character writing and all kinds of stuff. And I think we're talking about environments tomorrow, and it's going to be on my channel. So check it out. Yep, and it's a lot of fun. We go on with kind of conspiracy tangents towards the end of the show sometimes as well. So if you enjoyed this show, then definitely check us out.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Like, I'm a total lurker, Irene. So like once in a while, like I'm totally like I drop into your streams with Narwhal in them. And I'm like just sitting there listening because it's like really, really late for me. So I'm always like I will always listen. But you don't like usually I don't type in the chat, but I have watched you guys and it's a really fun show. So yes, definitely go check them out. They're really good. They're a really good channel and really good show in general. They have fun stuff they talk about, especially for late nighters. So if you're out there and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, there's nobody on, check out Irene. She's usually on somewhere.
Yeah, I'm always on at late night. So come around tomorrow.
It's been super fun, man. Thank you so much for coming on again. You guys chat, You've been excellent tonight. Thank you so much for listening and obviously backing Irene. Thank you for supporting me. Special thanks to those of you who super chatted, gifted memberships, became a member, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in the way that you do. It means everything to me. And of course, I will see you guys Friday for Infinite Hope, because that is definitely something we're going to need to do, especially after this crazy ass show. So thank you everyone again, and I'll see you guys. Oh, Braz Monkey just gifted another 5 memberships to the chat. Thank you so very much to that, for you, for doing that, Braz Monkey. You are one of the kindest people out there. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.